Listen, every guy out here, we got 104 guys, 102, but we had 104. In their mind, they want to try to win every tournament. And you're not a competitor out here if you don't believe that. But I think that the last few years, like, I really honestly maybe put a little too much pressure on myself. I just want to go out and enjoy this moment of 30. So I think the combination of fishing free, maybe putting not as much pressure on myself to win, I think that's going to help.
If I run in there, I'm not going to run in there on pad, but if I run in there and it's no water, and these are my Marshall's glasses from the second day he left in the boat. So thank you, Marshall. You know, I mean, I remember being a kid and seeing Roland Martin, you know, Roland Martin throw a spinnerbait and catch these bass, big giant bass. He's out here wading. He's like, those visions, like when you're a kid, like that's like a dream, you know?
First time coming down here, fishing Okeechobee specifically, from New Jersey.
Dude, I remember it like it was yesterday. Came down here and fished an invitational here in, like, I want to say it was like 97. And I just remember, you know, again, as a pro, my own boat, these are invitational, so pro on pro. And I remember getting here for the first practice day, literally launching my boat, the same ramp we're going out of this week. The boat gets out into the lake. I come off pad and I look around. You catch your breath, you know, you swallow your spit. You're like, okay. Then it's like, man, it's a puzzle. You know, it's just a much bigger puzzle, you know? And then you start to take pieces of what you have fished and you try to apply it. So like for me, it was like the Pine Barrens. You know, when I was a kid growing up in the Pine Barrens, you have stuff that sort of looks like this. The Upper Chesapeake Bay has some marshy stuff that looks like this. But dude, I'll never forget that feeling of intimidation. This is way before the days of GPS, my first trip here. So everything's paper maps, everything's, you know, eye navigation, man. And that's scary. You remember that from where we were trout fishing?
I do.
I was like, yeah, it's nice to catch them on a spoon and a little jerkbait and a spinner, but who fucking cares?
Give me the crawlers.
Give me a night crawler. Got osprey jumping. Hey, caught one. He's a cute little guy. He's nice and he's sweet and he's precious. Thank you.
And he won't do us any good.
He won't do us any good.
Risky boat flip there.
They're massive Florida fish.
So, you know, here we are 2 tournaments in now, and I feel like I'm fishing really free. Done a lot of things this week that are very untraditional Florida by just fishing and thinking a little, you know, more freely. So there's a lot to be said for that.
So there is something to this, dude. That giant one. I knew it when I found it yesterday. Double hook now. There you go. 3-pounder. Look at that, dude. In Florida, you want to flip grass, reeds, lily pads, plastics, June bug. No, crankbait, rock. The one thing I know from fishing, dude, is nothing's an accident. So, you know, yesterday in practice, pulling in a canal and getting 7 or 8 bites cranking, old school style. I'm not live scoping, just going down the bank. That told me something. So now that we got a first good bite of the day, we're gonna spend the next 2-3 hours trying to find this bite, see if it's the real deal or if it's just a fluke Klaugenstein.
What'd you call that?
Fluke Klaugenstein.
Right
We're sinking, dude.
There it is. Oh, wow, yeah.
How is that wild or what? I would go yesterday, I'd catch a keeper. Sometimes would catch another keeper, and then I would go 1/4 mile and knock. Big one, big giant one. Nope. Guys,
it's not a fluke.
Guys, it's not a fluke. We're definitely on a pattern here. This is actually weighs about 3 pounds, as much as that last one, but yep, that's it. I'm just trying to make 1,000,000 casts with the crankbait, you know, and cover water. So it's a big one. Big giant one, Eric. Wait. Another rock. No, this one's a stick.
New species.
Good. 3 for 3. I got a bass, a rock, and a stick. This is, you saw the morning we had, dude. And to come in and get, I think I had a bite back there too. Remember I said I thought I had a bite? So to have 3 actual bites and a rock and a stick is a good feeling. You just said it, and it's a 4-pounder. Wow. I found him, dude. Big one. Big giant one. Big giant one, eh? Oh my God. Fucking cut this dumb hunter off the boat. Go. Dude. Fucking Florida cranking, baby. 4-pounder. 4 1/4. Look how fat that thing is pre-spawn. Look at that, dude. That's all fucking eggs. This is a Vegas to Hammer lesson. Dude, don't be afraid to do things that aren't historically the deal. You do not come to Florida to go in the canals and throw a crankbait. You do not, dude. You don't do that. You do not do that, guys. You don't come to Florida to do this. That other canal we launched from has, oh, here he goes. Oh! Did you see him jump? It was a 6, dude. That's what them glide baits look like right there. All right, guys, that is a wrap for practice. It is the day before the tournament, so we're gonna quit a little early. Every other day is dark to dark, but since I have to fish tomorrow, we're at about 3 o'clock and we're gonna call it quits. Definitely a good day. If I just look at the deal, I would say fishing free, fishing the moment, not being afraid to try stuff un-Florida-like, and that's what helped us.
The arm's still sore, and you know I'm mad at myself because when I found out I didn't make the cut last week on the drive back, I was pissed off. And you know, thing that I've done in my career is I've tried to like let it out, like throw something or break something, and then just get rid of it. And I did that, and I forgot. Like I was so wrapped up in the disappointment of not making 50 that I re-heard it, and that's the dumbest thing in the world. And I'm pissed that I did that to myself. When the adrenaline flows, I'm still gonna try to land that fish, make it happen.
Mike,
you know.
You made it to South Bay with a paper map.
I can do anything. I know I told you to St. John's, but the feeling's the same. Like I'm sitting here, like thinking, looking at my watch. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to bed in about 20 minutes. It's 9 o'clock. I'm gonna go over my mind and play out scenarios, thinking about it. But dude, like, I got the butterflies. Like just thinking about it, like. Well, I've been doing it for forever, since the dinosaurs roamed the earth. I've been doing this. But dude, I am so jacked up right now.
Trying to harness the spirit of Jimmy Dean. I mean, look at that thing, dude. Microwave, old, nasty. Still has a little bit of paper towel on it, which is added little protein right there, a little paper towel.
That's the flavor.
But if I take this bite, I feel like it might initiate log lift, and it goes like this. It's something! It'll end up being an hour and 15-minute delay. So being the first flight, that's gonna hurt. But we've talked a lot about it in these first 2 tournaments. It's an uncontrollable, and you can't control that. I can only control what's in front of me. So I'm gonna tighten up and just, you know, try to get. We need 13 pounds today, guys. Is what we need. So see if we can make it happen. 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. Jesus. I said 4 because I wanted to be 4.
Champion and former progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year, the like for Mike Iaconelli.
There's one. Skinny, but 2.5. Isolated. He was unisolated. So now it's telling me maybe go run isolated, you know? Shaking like a leaf. I casted the backside, nothing. Like that's how picky they are. That's what I was saying. You got to fish fast but thorough. Two and a half. Good decision. Haven't caught a fish in the bush all fucking week.
I remember you telling me you ain't done much on the wood
Not
this
a
week.
single bite on wood this whole week. And I pitch in there and catch a 2.5. Oh man, I'm shaking so bad I can't. Them ones that aren't obvious, sneaky, dude. There's like 2 strands out there, and if you weren't like really looking, you wouldn't even see it. I'm not kidding. Good call. There's a limit, a little after 10. My first limit, so that's good. So now we're at 9.25 for 5. So that's good. Let's get some more of the magic bait here. When we leave, now we're going to be way more comfortable when we get to the cranking spot. You know what I mean? When you have 5, you're right. Listen, it settles you down. I don't care if you're 20 pounds back or a pound back. So now we've got our 5. So now everything from here up is an upgrade. Here's one. Come on, be a big one. Feels like a big one. No, it's a giant one. Yeah! 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 They want this crankbait literally creeping. So, you know, you're reeling it, and when you feel it hit off a rock, like they don't want it moving. And what happens is, you know, you get to fishing and you're nervous because you're not catching them. And you unintentionally speed up, and they're not biting that plug like that right now. They want this plug creeped on the bottom, and that fritz side actually suspends, right? So that's key. So I gotta tell myself, slow down. Fucking Placo. That is a weird looking fish, man.
What the hell was that?
Placo.
Is that what those black things are?
Something about catfish. Huh. You'll hardly ever catch them, which is weird. That is the reality of, I think, of professional tournament fishing, and I think it's the reality of life too, right? It's like, you know, you can have the best work ethic in the world, and you could be the most prepared person in the world, and you could have had the best practice in the world, which I did at both events, and have a tremendous game plan. And, you know, sometimes it just doesn't work. Like, things change. You know, I had a cold front get me at St. John's, and I had the mud get me here.
You hate to be home watching other guys fish and want to be participating, so I'm very happy to be out here. I've had a couple mediocre tournaments, but get some points, go on to the next one.
I just saw something. I get to see some pretty unique stuff on this stage that not everybody gets to see. But just a moment ago, I saw Stephen Browning kneel down watching Bo Browning take the lead. And I thought, maybe Iaconelli will one day be watching Vegas take a lead up here. What do you think?
Yeah, well, he loves to fish. I'm happy that he enjoys the sport. You know, as a father, as a parent, when you see your kids do something that you like to do, it's real rewarding. So I'd love to be like Steven. I'd love to be out there watching Vegas one day, be up on his stage. It would be awesome.
You took some time off there for a while, didn't you?
I did. I switched over to MLF,
Okay.
and then I took a year off after COVID just to recoup, chill out, and then I fished the Opens, the requalified to get here.
Sweet.
It's good.
You bring the excitement to the game, man.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's a lot of tilapia and a lot of them walking cats, dude. Dude, that line's bright.
Think it's scaring him?
No.
Oh, you're tight. You're tight.
I should have felt up first. I went right where the hook's at.
Gotta let him eat it.
I gotta let him eat it. Damn, it's like this week I suck. Did you make the cut? No, I'm tilapia fishing. We haven't filmed the night after the second day. We just take a break and then like come back and do these the next morning. And, you know, you almost have to give yourself like 12 hours, 24 hours to just, you know, say, all right, you know, this is what happened. This sucked, you know, and try to say, all right, next time I'll do this. I should do this. But you got to keep going, you know, you got to just go on. I mean, I'm not happy with this week, but I am proud that, you know, like when everything fell apart, I was able to, you know, put together couple 10-pound limits and have a better finish than I would have had. I told you, my track record's like 80% of the time I bomb, 20% of the time I catch the shit out of them. I hardly ever just have okay finishes. And this week I did. So it's way, way better. I am looking forward to getting home. You know, I think throughout the season, those little mini resets are good. The worst thing that I've had to deal with in these 30 years, and it wasn't easy in 95, and it's not very much easier now, is being away from your family, you know? Dude, that's the toughest thing, you know? So, you know, I'm talking about everybody, you know, my mom, my uncle, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, Becky, the kids, all 4 kids, like, that's tough. Above fishing is family, and it should always be that way. If I end up getting to lacrosse this year and decide, man, that's it for me for the elites, dude, that does not mean retirement. That's not the word. That's not the right word, because I'm not leaving fishing. I'm getting home, fixing this arm, and fishing. Very high on the priority list.
You ain't gonna be sitting at home.
No, it's red rattle trap season, baby. And if you think that's dirty, check this out. There are 3 guys in this tournament, all top 10, all fishing boat to boat to boat. Like literally fishing 5 feet from each other and making a cast on a hard spot, probably the size of this little cabin. Those 3 boats sat there the whole first day. They were literally 1, 2, and 3 in the standings. Just the best group of fish in the whole lake right now, honestly. And a guy tried to come in on the second day and, you know, I found this spot too. And, you know, but like there's precedence, right? So, you know, the golden rule of that is kind of like, if you establish yourself in an area and you have a good first day and, you know, you're in the top 10, then you sort of have claimed rights to that spot, you know? That's always been the unwritten rule, and guys will always push it though, you know? And there are times you push it when you know what you're doing, and there's times when you push it and you don't, right? And listen, I'm not throwing stones, because I've been guilty of both. I've been guilty of saying, oh fuck, those guys are fishing in that area. Man, I caught them there in practice. I got a waypoint. Well, I'm gonna go over there and snoop around. And, you know, I go over and investigate, because honestly, I did fish it in practice, but I know that they're there, and I'm sort of breaking that gray rule. And, you know, guys will either not challenge you or challenge you. But I've also been the other side too, which is, you know, like, I didn't know, you know, like, honestly, this is a spot that I caught fish on for years, and I'm struggling, and I'm like, oh, let me just run over there and see if I can catch a couple. And then somebody comes and chases you out. So, you know, the famous one for me in the 30 years, because it was at the height of, you know, the era of I was the bad guy and Kevin Van Dam's the good guy. A tournament on Lake Chickamauga in Tennessee, you know, I had a great first day. I actually caught 27 pounds, and the area just kind of dried up. The fish actually kind of just moved past where they were. They had stopped there and they moved past. So I was like scrambling. I was trying to catch a couple fish. And I'm like, man, let me go run over, and there's a little gravel bar. And I'm like, let me go run over and fish that gravel bar. I'd fished it years before that. And I run over there, and I go on my spot for my no. I don't even have a waypoint. Like, I look at the bank, and I'm like, yeah, I remember. It's right in front of this pipe. And I sit down and start fishing, and like 2 football fields away is Van Dam, and he comes flying over at me with the trolling motor. You know, I'm like, dude, just ask me to leave. Like, you don't have to, like, intimidate me. Like, there's, you know, if he would have just came over and been like, yo, dude, do you mind? Like, I've been here for, you know, and I didn't know, you know, I've been here for 2 days. Like, do you mind if, you know, I can have this area? I'm like, cool. I would have went to the next spot. But he's trying to muscle me out. You know what I mean? Like, so that's been going on forever. But there are a lot of those unwritten rules. I do think as time goes on, you know, maybe the downfall of the sport, or maybe the downfall of society today, you know, is that a lot less and less guys are paying attention to those rules, you know.
Right.
They're pushing the boundaries.
Right. Yeah, that's funny. Oh, we're tight.
Oh yeah, we're tight. I gotta get under this grass. We're tight. Yeah, we're tight. We're tight, guys. During the interview, we're tight. Oh wow, we're tight on a turtle. That's a stink pot, guys. Oh no.
That's not good.
That's not good. That's a stink pot. That sums up my week, dude. That sums up my week. That sums up the start of my tournament season. So, I freaking damaged my arm 4 days before the start of the tournament. I have 2 mediocre finishes. The cold front and mud get me. And then I just want to catch a lousy tilapia or walking catfish. Instead, I hook a stink pot. That's kind of like what we should title these 2 tournaments, stink pot, you know? Crazy, man. Crazy.